It's becoming really popular today to use mastic gum, especially when trying to treat H. pylori. And the reason it's becoming popular is because it can be very effective. And even if a person doesn't have H. pylori, they can use it for other types of infections. A lot of people will go and they'll get a test and like, oh, it was H. pylori negative, that must not be what it was. But it can just be a different bacterial or fungal or yeast or mold type of strain that can be creating similar problems. And this mastic gum can really help a lot of those things. I even use it with clients when I'm trying to help them get past like a food poisoning issue. I'll put a link in the description below this video for our video on how to take care of food poisoning a little bit faster. There's other steps you can take too. But mastic gum can be really effective. The problem is there's a lot of mistakes that people make when they're using mastic gum, and it's basically just like a resin from a tree. It's like a fancy evergreen tree, but it kind of works in a way that I kind of view it almost like it's mummifying the bacteria, like it goes in and kind of carries them up and then takes them out the back door. And bee propolis can kind of be used in a similar fashion if you prefer to go that route, but I see a lot better results with mastic gum. So in this video, I'm going to help you avoid the 5 most common mistakes that people make that can not only make the mastic gum not very effective, but it can also cause a lot of trouble. Let's jump in.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
So mistake number 1 is when people don't take mastic gum away from food. It should really be away from food. You want to kind of fill this stomach here with that gum so that it can wipe out that bacteria in the stomach. And just don't view it like, oh, one shot's going to do the trick, because all these bad guys can hide in the mucus layer and all these kinds of places. H. pylori is very popular for causing trouble down here in the duodenum too. So you really want to do it on an empty stomach first thing in the morning so that you can really load that up and not have food interfering with the process of trying to wipe out these bad guys. And you can either chew the mastic gum and then spit it out. You chew it for a little bit and let all those juices come out and go into your stomach. Or you can get a capsule and just take the capsules. And I hear from a lot of people that say that they see better results when they take the capsules and open them up and put them into some water and kind of stir that up and drink it. It's not delicious. I don't want you to think it's delicious. But when it's open, then that way they're really getting in there and wiping those guys out. Because a lot of people that have a significant bacterial overgrowth, they have that overgrowth because the stomach acid function is not even working. And some people can't even break down a capsule very well. So if you can open up those capsules and let it go in, then you can help wipe those bad guys out. The second biggest mistake I see people make is that they don't do anything else. They think that mastic gum is going to be magical and just do it all on its own. And the reality is that some of these infections and some of these bacterial overgrowths can be significant, and mastic gum alone is not going to do the trick. It can be a great piece of the puzzle, but for most of these things, most people need more than one thing. So we like to use things like D-limonene, which is like an orange peel extract that can really be good at wiping out bacteria. And another effective thing is celery juice. If you can drink a good amount of celery juice, and I'll put a link in the description below this video for our video on how to use celery juice the right way, because if you're going to do that, you really got to do it the right way or it's not going to be effective. But when you're going to do steps like mastic gum, putting other things involved in that process can really make it a whole lot more effective. Now, mistake number 3 is that the person doesn't restore the acid function. So the stomach acid is not only important to help us digest our food, we need it to acidify our food so that it can be broken down properly, but that stomach acid is also like our knight in disgusting armor. It's frying all these varmints in an acid bath as they come in on the food that we're eating, and they're coming in. But that stomach acid is like the barrier to the whole body. So when that function is not there, the door is open and the bad guys are coming in and they're setting up camp and they're having a keg party and they're raising their kids and they're having a great time. So we really need to not only wipe them out, but we need to restore this acid function so that they're not more coming back in next week. So this is a really important step that most people skip, and it's one of the most important steps. And also, don't view it like you need to create total annihilation of this bacterial infection, especially like H. pylori. It appears that most people have H. pylori in their system, and as long as the system is operating correctly and it's in a good environment and there's stomach acid working properly and you have good gut flora and all that, then most of these bad guys will be kept in check. So don't feel like you need to do this atomic nuke, wipe everything out. You just need to get things under control and restore your acid function, and that will allow everything to operate the way that it's supposed to operate. Now, mistake number 4 is that people don't stop. So we kind of view mastic gum like a natural antibiotic for the digestive tract. So if you were going to take antibiotics, you wouldn't take those indefinitely. Most people know now that that can be very problematic and that we want a good gut flora. That's all has a lot of important factors to it. So we don't like to see people use it indefinitely. Most people will need to use it for about a month or 2. So that's a pretty good range of time, and your situation could really vary and everybody is different, but you just don't want to use it indefinitely. You want to use it in an effort to get the bacteria under control. And then you want to do the last step, which people usually don't do, which is put some good probiotics in there and reestablish your good gut flora now that you've probably wiped out a lot of that by using this natural antibiotic type situation. So we like to see people, when their digestion is working correctly and there's a good environment there, to just use probiotics for like 2 to 3 weeks. I don't feel like you really need to use it indefinitely like a lot of manufacturers tell you should do. Some people, it can even create problems if they're using too much probiotics for too long. You really want to put them in for 2 or 3 weeks, and then if the environment is right, they're going to replicate on their own and they're going to grow and do a great job and be great. You don't need to keep dumping them in there. Maybe every few months or so, you might put a little more in there for a week or 2. But we just like to see people use it temporarily just to restore what's going on. So those are the biggest mistakes that most people make. I hope that that helps you avoid some of those big traps. But since the most important part is to restore the acid function, what I want you to do right now is jump over and watch our video on 4 steps to improve low stomach acid. I can't wait to hear about your results.